Hello and welcome back to my channel. For this card I will be using products from several different companies. To start with, I have the Holiday Anya 7 from the Greeting Farm. Now, I love the little Anyas anyway, but this one's cute. She's holding a giant gingerbread cookie. And I've had this stamp since, I think, last year, and I haven't used it. So I figured this year I needed to get on the ball with that one. Alright, so I'm going to just let you watch me color for a moment while I tell you that I would like to do another giveaway. I am probably going to wait until the first of the year to do that because shipping is ridiculously crazy right now. So I have also decided, let me back up. I have not yet decided on which things that will be part of the giveaway. But to enter the giveaway, I would like to ask you what Christmas means to you. For us, we are followers of Jesus, so we try to put Jesus into Christmas. And I know there's like arguments about, it's not really a Christian holiday or whatever. It was pagan, whatever. For us, it is what you make of it. So I would like to know what Christmas means to you. Whether that is the same kind of views that we hold or different views, that is completely fine. I don't want anybody in the comments bashing anybody. That's not necessary. So be kind. Just be kind. But that's all I want you to do to enter the giveaway. And you don't have to subscribe or anything like that. Just, I want you to answer that one question. I'm just curious. I'd like to know what everybody thinks of during Christmas. Alright, now I will shush about that for a moment. I haven't listed the colors. I mean, you can see them on the screen, but I haven't taken the time to tell you about them. And it's nothing super special. I did try to go out of my comfort zone with the red just a little bit because of my R22 being still empty. The color combination for this took a little while. I didn't really have a good idea of the colors that I wanted to use before I started. Since it had the little berries on the hat, I felt like I had to use red somewhere, and I also thought it was a little bit silly to only put red on the berries. So then I added it to the skirt, and there was already going to be brown in the card, which I had kind of planned on that. So I was trying to figure out what else I could do without making it too crazy. And of course, I needed green for the little holly leaves. And then I decided to go out of the box a little bit and use a non-traditional green for the leaves and the stars. I actually pretty closely matched it to the Nuvo drops that I have used in a previous card. And I think I had showed that in that video. But I actually really like that green. It's, what is it, Neptune turquoise something? I don't remember exactly. You'll see it in a little bit. Alright, for my hair, I always go in with my lightest color to kind of map out where I want my shading. This just helps because eventually the lightest colors will be not white, but the light brown. So if I mess up, I don't really have to worry about it too much. It was already going to be that color anyway. And then I just go in with my mid-tone. And I go just shy of where I colored the lightest color. And then I take my darkest color and I go over some of the same areas, but I also make sure to leave some of that mid-tone color. And then finally, I will take my lightest color again, and I'm just going to go really quickly over the whole thing just to blend it just a little bit, and also so that the white parts are covered, but I don't want it to be so blended that you can't tell that there's individual marker strokes. So I try to go over this as few times as possible. And now she looks like she has shiny hair. Alright, this is my not normal green color, which is a blue-green. And this, like I said, I matched it to my Nuvo drops. Obviously, this isn't the exact color of holly leaves. And after this, I do color the stars with the exact same colors. This is not something I would normally do. I kind of contemplated on leaving them white or making them red or bringing in an entirely different color. But I just went with this blue-green color combo for now. It's okay. I don't really think that if I was coloring just the hat that I would have ever made the stars the same color as the leaves. And here's where I decided that I was going to leave the boots, the coat or jacket or whatever she's wearing, her top, and the hat all with warm grays to make them look more white than gray, really. And there's all this little knit detail on the hat that I really wasn't sure what to do with. So I used one of the markers to just kind of go over all of the little knit lines. I don't know if it really translated that well. I'm sure there's a better way to color this, but I actually haven't colored this image, but I think maybe one other time, and I didn't love how it turned out, so I was kind of just winging it here. And now that she's all cut out, I fussy cut her. I am going to take the little gingerbread guy, one of them, from this tiny gingerbread stamp set from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to stamp it repeatedly in different positions all over my background using the Hero Arts Unicorn Pigment ink. This ink stays wet just a little bit longer, so you do have time to work with it. For my background, I did try to keep the gingerbread fairly close together, and I actually didn't have any spots that I really could not stand. Usually when I do this, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'll try to just cut this part off, or I can cover it up somehow because there's a weird gap. But I think I did all right this time. Of course, I didn't have paper underneath, and so now I have ink on my mat, so had to clean that up. But now I'm just gonna put the embossing powder on it and heat set it. And now I have two white panels. One is slightly larger than my craft panel, and then the other one is even bigger than that. And I'm going to use this diagonal stripe background stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to stamp it with Candied Apple Distress ink. Now here I realized my panel was up too high. Whoops. So I carefully tried to line it up and stamp it again, which this took I don't know how many stampings. I'm not sure if it's my stamp positioner that's a little wonky or if it's just operator error or what, but I always have patches that I have a hard time getting to stamp correctly. Thankfully, the whole center of that panel is going to be covered by my other panels. So now I'm just adhering my panels together, and you can see how little of an area there is for that white cardstock on that first panel. I just wanted a slight matte to it. Then I'm going to glue this one onto my stripe panel, and this was very bold to me when I did it. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I left it, and now I'm taking that same distress ink and I am covering over a scrap piece of paper, and I am heat setting it to make sure that it's fully dry, and I am going to heat emboss my sentiment, which I got this one from the tiny gingerbread stamp set, and it's Have a Sweet Christmas. And I'm going to use one of these dies from Avery Elle to cut out my sentiment. You could do this with anything. You could even just use scissors if you wanted. Mine always turns out wonky when I do that, so I opted out of that. And I'm just using low-tack tape to run it through my die cutting machine. And now I want that to have a mat to it as well, so I am going to use my X-Acto knife and this ruler, and I'm going to cut out my white piece of paper just a little bit larger than my sentiment banner. And then I'm going to glue those together. And I don't love the placement of this. I think it shifted a little bit. Like, that seemed okay, and then I think when I was pushing it on, it started to move some more, and it's a little crooked, which kind of bugs me, but not enough to fix it. So here I popped my little character up on some foam tape and put her a little higher than the center of the card, and then I'm going to adhere my sentiment flat to the card base. And for the final touch, I'm going to use my white jelly roll on my image to give the berries a few highlights, put the white back in her eyes, and then whiten up the gingerbread icing. And then I'm going to take this Neptune Turquoise Nouveau drops, and I'm just going to add a few little details on the gingerbread and her hat. And then I am going to put little dots in between the gingerbreads that I have heat embossed on my background. I did this because I felt like it needed a little bit more green, and it kind of helped with the spacing between the gingerbread so it didn't look so plain, blank, I don't know. It needed something, and if I hadn't planned on using the Nouveau drops, I probably would have stamped little hearts or candy canes or something. I would have looked through my stamps to figure out what I could have added between them. After that, I attached my card front to a card base, and my card is done. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in another video soon. Bye!